Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Just a quickie here, guys. I'm still trying to get used to this new USGS map because they changed it and they put the Gulf of America in, and they changed all the, it's just different color set. It used to be a little bit more greens instead of the blues. It used to be a little darker. We do see this little Quake 2.0. This is Little Elgin, South Carolina. It's basically right under my ex's house, so which is really close to Fort Jackson and a military base where a lot of people go through basic training. And we do get that this is military base related. It's always around this, 5 or 6 kilometers deep. So, that's expansion or something going on with the military base there. But this is the one we're going to look at here. As you see, there's a swarm here, and this is a 5.0 right now by the USGS at 6.6 kilometers deep. And there are other, aftershocks going on. This is a heavy fracking area. And I have seen swarms. A lot of times this is listed as south of Whites, New Mexico. But what you have going on here also, which coincidentally there was, as you see here, USGS is aware of some issues with some map areas at certain zoom levels and is working on a solution. I guess the update that they did caused some issues, but it was a 5.3 according to some other sources and earlier sources, and actually caused cracked tiles. Texas over 5.0 having quakes over that magnitude happens, but it's pretty rare. And again, I really, my humble opinion, no expert here, if there was no fracking going on and all that drilling, I seriously doubt we'd have barely any quakes over here.
I know. I mean, I'm looking at that cracking of the tile. That's just got to be really harsh. Oh my gosh, I would cry. You know how many stub toes that's going to create at night until it gets fixed. And then I'm sure this is just a small percentage. Earthquakes can really cause some serious damage going deep into your house, and you might not even know what has happened to it for years later. And the thing is, I'm with Mike. I don't think it's necessary. I think these are avoidable occurrences.
Yeah, absolutely are. It's the choices that they make for us, and then so many just blindly go along, clapping when they announce something, because it's just like Mel Brooks. I didn't get a harumph from that guy. Harumph. And then check this out. Here you got a tornado, perhaps fires, flooding, mudslides, and now a possible tornado in Southern California. So damage. Curious. There's a lot going on, a real lot going on. And it just feels, it's got this ominous feeling, doesn't it? It really does. I feel, again, like if it wasn't for the system, we'd all be singing Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, which I did play for Cindy when, because we could see the sun coming up on the lake from the bedroom, and it's just a beautiful sight. But it's going to be a stormy Saturday, especially for a lot of people here in the deep south. And this is right now an area of concern. Tornado outbreak possible. Today is the 15th of February. We're more than halfway done, because there's only 28 days this month. We're more than halfway done with February. Oh boy, hang on tight. And it's going to get cold. I keep watching them revising the temperatures downward on the Weather Channel. So if you're anywhere in this area, be very, very aware. This is our buddy. No, it's not Stewie. It's Max Velocity. Yeah, it's not a grown-up Stewie. It's Max Velocity. We do appreciate his diligence. So, especially up in this area here. So if you're in Memphis to Nashville and beyond, just be aware of this. And, this is all going to go sliding east. One of our dear family members that's in West Virginia is preparing because there could be a lot of floods too, and they have like over a foot of snow that's just sitting there. I've been through West Virginia with lots of snow piled high, and just be cautious and aware of your environment. This is really what it looks like. LED lights flash 100,000 times a second. Again, they're always giving us these technological advancements that seem to always have health issues attached to them, or the potential for health issues. Oh, by the way, I saw in Russia today, there was and I could just pull it up real quick probably. There's a couple things that really hit me here. This is a Russian scientist busting the myth about microplastics. Don't worry, they're on such a small level. They don't really harm us. Nothing to worry about there. Boy, that sounds like, again, the scientists from the U.S. They're all basically the same, depending on what the topic is and the timing, because as we catch on and we learn about things, then they have to acknowledge it, and then it becomes more of a blame game, finger pointing thing. And then there's something else new that's kind of hidden up and hush that has also got health related concerns. It's just one after another. Again, we don't have to be using gas and oil. We certainly. There was a farming. I saw a farmer in the Midwest. Where was he? I can't remember now. There was a farmer that was just openly acknowledging, well, the soil is so toxic right now because of the fire at maybe it was California, the lithium fire. And just saying, we use hemp to pull the toxins from the soil, but it's going to take a year or two, and then the soil will be good and safe. But it's not safe now, so they got to plant hemp. And think about how we had used hemp in the past, and then nobody uses hemp. And then now people discover, it's actually a great crop to grow. It has a lot of uses, from clothing, etc., to detoxifying the soil. This is, again, part of the reality that we're waking up to. And it's like, it can't be a million coincidences that every single thing that we've done seems to have a negative health concern with it. Whether it is planting something, whether it's not planting something, whether it's energy related or changing one toxic energy for another toxic energy, it doesn't have to be this way. And yet it is. It's because there's always been another purpose behind it. Oh, and checking this headline out here, Trump sends defense stocks crashing. Well, they go down about 5 or 6%. Do you know how much money? I mean, half of our discretionary budget is typically defense, which is not really defense. When was the last time we fended off an invasion of the United States? And, we have military in 95% of the countries around the world. That's not defense. It's again, it's policing for the system is what it is, until the system designates a new way of doing things. And, this is just par for the course. And, people are waking up to all this. Now, when we look to those lights, there we go. This is what it looks like. They flash 100,000 times a second. A lot of people are going back to incandescents, and I'm thinking myself, I try to keep the lights off as much as possible, and even have enough candle holders to simply do candles. But then the candles, often, unless you're careful, they're going to give off lead toxins because they stick lead in the candles. And, here you go. You find one after another. We all know about Gil Bates and that appeal stuff that's on organic produce. Organic. That's not organic. Again, this is the problem that we have. This is what it looks like if you just slow it down a little. So, obviously, you see those warnings around certain video games and stuff. Well, the LED lights themselves can cause seizures and epileptic fits. And there's also the blue light hazard in it. LED lights emit blue light, much like the natural morning sunlight. Oh, yeah. But excessive exposure, especially in the evening, can disrupt sleep patterns and strain the eyes. Also potentially damage the retina. And how many people are you finding having vision problems? There's been a ton of people with vision problems, and I see it in younger people too. Again, the switch over he had to the LEDs, that was a big hyped thing. Flicker and glare, photobiological safety, absolutely, electrical safety and chemical composition, because they do have trace amounts of lead, arsenic, and nickel safely enclosed, unless you drop one. I remember that was a big deal when we first got them. Everybody was really terrified of dropping one. What are we going to have to do? Get our hazmat suit on? Well, again, the reality is there's been a lot of talk about the health concerns with this, and it's absolutely disruptive. It's really disruptive. And so, certain wavelengths you want to avoid, other wavelengths you want to enhance. But when it comes to the LEDs, again, is this really an improvement? Because what this can do is lower our immune system response. As you see, seizures, they've actually found like a lower immune system response, which again, it's going to increase the potential for more cancers. And cancers are the thing that are popping up everywhere. This really does interfere with our pineal gland. That pineal gland that in most cases has been calcified over with the fluoride they put in the drinking water, the toxic fluoride. Well, pineal gland produces melatonin and serotonin, and they are so important for us in our sleep regulation. How many people don't get good sleep? How many people that are watching their computers all day, all night, or their cell phones have a hard time sleeping? Well, this is a big part of why.
Mm-hmm. And that melatonin is so very important. It staves off certain kinds of cancers. It's a super, super hormone. We absolutely need it. And even though, we don't recommend you taking anything, you should try to get your body, have its own ability to create melatonin sometimes. And I just have to throw this in here. On my journey when I was healing, I did have to take melatonin, and when I did, it allowed my body to heal. So that melatonin is so critical. And then you go back down on the melatonin. So the idea that if you take melatonin your body can't create it, that new studies are out always new studies, and it's been my personal experience that I took melatonin and I was able to come right back down as soon as my body was healed. So this just says how extremely important this is, and we are not doctors.
No, but again, I think that's a good thing, because I see a lot of DRs that are in boxes, and again, they're in a box that, if they decide to climb out of it, it could impact them gigantically as far as finances go, because it's buying a big house. When you going through medical school, that's buying a big house. I mean, I still have student loans in myself too, that I'm working to pay off. And that's it's a trap. It is a trap, absolutely. So when you're looking at this, the function of the pineal gland is huge. It's so important. Cancer and tumor suppression, longevity, anti-aging, fertility, immune system, blood pressure, body temperature. I mean, the reproduction and the sex hormones and having to do with puberty. And we know, kids have totally different cycles overall when it comes to that. Everybody's made note that they seem to change way earlier. A lot of it is the environment. It really, really is so much. And then the sleep and the wake cycle. I guess I'm on this too, because I woke up with that Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun. Because we used to wake up to the sun and we would go to sleep when it went to sleep. And if you think about that, on the whole, again, not saying exactly, but we used to follow the natural cycles. I did work, one time in my life, I was working from 11 to 7 overnight. That was brutal. That was so tough on the body. And I was actually working a second part-time job in the afternoon. And it was just impossible to get any more than about 4 hours sleep at a time. And, I think doing that for a year and a half, it was really disruptive to the body. And then now when you're working and you're in the conditions where the LEDs are flickering constantly, I mean, just looking at that kind of gives me a headache.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough just taking a look at that and imagine your brain, even though you're not processing it and you can't see it when it's going full speed, your body knows, your brain knows, and it's going to act like a regular organ acts, and it's going to react to what is going on, even if you can't see it. So we have to realize that our bodies have their own emotions and they are very reactive, and treat them as such, and keep in mind when we surround ourselves with these 24/7 constant, sure, some things are going to go wrong, but this is one thing that you can take a look at in your house and maybe try to correct to the best of your ability. I know so many people have them now. So what do? Well, you try different lighting. You just do what you can in this moment of time, and you get through it, because that's the thing. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to change out all of my light bulbs. Most people don't. So you just go slow and you do what you can.
Yeah, humanity is in a war. People are waking up to the fact that we have been in a war, that we didn't know an entity. There's this, we could call it anything you want to, the dark cabal, whatever term you want to utilize. Most of humanity doesn't realize that a war was declared on humanity, and you don't even realize it. And now we're just waking up and saying, wait a minute, we've been under attack our whole lives, and we had no clue. So many people had no clue. Oh, again, we could learn a lot from Mother Nature.
We'll get through this together. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.